This is Unsolved Requiem. In the early morning hours of December 1st, 1948, a man was found dead on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. He was well dressed, clean, no signs of violence, no identification, no wallet, no explanation. In his pocket, a small rolled piece of paper contained two words, Tamám Shud. Translated from Persian, it means, "It is finished." More than 70 years later, his identity and the meaning behind those words continues to challenge investigators. The man was discovered leaning against the seawall, his head resting gently, his legs extended. Witnesses had seen him the night before, sitting upright in the same location. One couple noticed he appeared to raise his arm slightly and then let it fall. They assumed he was intoxicated. No one approached him. When police arrived the next morning, they found no pulse, no signs of struggle, no obvious cause of death. He wore a suit, polished shoes, and a tie. All labels had been carefully removed from his clothing. Every single one. His pockets contained a bus ticket, a train ticket unused, a pack of chewing gum, matches, and cigarettes of a different brand than the packet suggested. The absence of identification was deliberate. This was not an accident of misplacement. It was systematic removal. An autopsy was conducted. The man appeared to be in his early 40s. Physically fit, no visible injuries. His spleen was enlarged. There was congestion in several organs. Doctors suspected poisoning. But no traceable toxin could be identified with the testing methods available at the time. Officially, the cause of death was listed as unknown. Weeks later, a new detail emerged. A suitcase had been found at Adelaide railway station. Inside were clothing items with labels removed, matching the dead man's size. A coat carried traces of a rare wax thread not commonly found in Australia. The suitcase provided no name, no address. Just more fragments of a life intentionally obscured. The most famous clue came months after the discovery. Investigators learned that the phrase Tamám Shud had been torn from a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of Persian poetry. Eventually, a man came forward, stating that he had found such a book in his car shortly before the body was discovered. The final page had been torn out. The phrase matched perfectly. Inside that copy of the Rubaiyat, police discovered something else. On the back page, faint impressions of handwritten letters. A code, 5 lines of seemingly random capital letters. No spaces, no punctuation. Despite attempts by cryptographers, military intelligence, and amateur codebreakers over decades, the message has never been conclusively deciphered. Also written inside the book was a phone number. It led to a nurse who lived just a short distance from Somerton Beach. She denied knowing the man. However, when shown a cast of his face, witnesses reported that she appeared visibly shaken. She later stated she had given a copy of the Rubaiyat to a man years earlier, but she insisted the Somerton man was not him. The timing fueled speculation. It was 1948, the early Cold War era. Australia hosted military installations. Intelligence operations were expanding. The possibility of espionage entered public imagination. A well-dressed, unidentified man, a code, a mysterious death. No identification. It felt like fiction, but it was not. Yet no direct evidence ever linked a case to spy activity. There were no secret documents, no known aliases, no confirmed foreign connections. The idea of espionage persists largely because of circumstantial intrigue. The code, the removed labels, the poetry referencing finality. Another theory suggests suicide. The phrase, "it is finished," could imply resignation. The Rubaiyat often reflects on mortality and fate. But suicide typically leaves context, a note, a background of despair, known identity. Here, there was none. And poisoning without detectable substance complicates that narrative. Over decades, investigators attempted to trace dental records, military service files, immigration data, missing persons reports. Nothing definitive emerged. His fingerprints did not match any known database. He seemed to exist only in the moment of his death. In 2009, the case was reopened. DNA testing began. A preserved lock of hair offered potential genetic clues. Years later, advancements in forensic genealogy suggested a possible identity: Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. In 2022, Australian authorities announced that genealogical evidence strongly supported this identification. Yet even with a likely name, questions remain. Why was he in Adelaide? Why were clothing labels removed? Why the coded message? Why the torn page? Why no clear cause of death? Identification does not automatically equal explanation. If he was Charles Webb, he had separated from his wife years earlier. Some speculate emotional distress. Others point again toward espionage, or simply a private life that unraveled quietly. Without diaries or surviving witnesses to his final days, we are left with reconstruction rather than certainty. The code remains unsolved. Experts debate whether it is even a cipher or simply random notation. Some believe it references poetry structure. Others think it may encode initials. But no universally accepted solution exists. The message endures as one of Australia's most famous unsolved cryptographic puzzles. Unlike violent crime scenes, Somerton Beach offered calm. A body at rest, ocean waves steady, no visible trauma, no dramatic confrontation. Just a man who appeared to sit down and never rise again. The subtlety of the scene is what makes it enduring. Mystery without spectacle. Perhaps the truth is simpler than the legend. A man estranged, a journey unshared, a death from rare poison undetectable at the time. Or perhaps something more deliberate occurred, a meeting, a message, a decision. What remains certain is this. On a quiet Australian beach in 1948, a man died with no name and a message that suggested completion. Even now, as technology reveals pieces of his identity, the full story remains just beyond reach. The ocean did not take him. The mountain did not bury him. The farm did not hide him. He was found. And still, he remains a mystery. Tamám Shud, it is finished. Or perhaps not yet. This has been Unsolved Requiem.